afternoon, everyone. Today's reading is going to be, how has this person's feelings changed? Sorry, I said have the first time I said it. You're going to have 3 piles as usual, very simple spread. Magic. Pile number 1, cactus flower. Pile number 2, Pantone 9041. And pile number 3, candy pink. So if you want to take your choice, and then we'll just get going. Right, pile number 1. This to me is very much Heathcliff. After Catherine gets married, it's a case of this person has taken a lot internally, has taken what they consider to be a hard knock in this relationship. I am thinking here, because you've got the Ten of Swords up here where the situation, this is the back of the pack, where the situation feels like it possibly has ended in some sort of conflict or some sort of antagonistic way. You've got behind you the Tower, and the Page of Swords is making me thinking of there's no such thing as that, sharp words, where there's been an argument or something, or even if it's not sharp words, it's finding out something that's really annoyed them, finding out that you may have cheated on them. I think that's a bit of a far stretch, but I'm just trying to think of situations that they may have heard of with the Page of Swords that have caused them some sort of upset or conflict, or unless it is basically a head-on argument, it could be one of those conversations where you didn't do that they didn't do this, and vice versa. And this person's coming across here initially as the hidden strength. So it's somebody who, to me, with the High Priestess, doesn't like to be rocked internally. Somebody who keeps themselves to themselves and thinks very much with their emotions, and then has, in my eyes, has decided to, I was about to apologise then in mid-sentence, has stopped it, cut themselves off, and thought, I'm going to calm myself down in this situation. I'm going to deal with it in a very sort of practical way, a very much a case of I'm in charge of myself. This is somebody who doesn't want this. This is somebody who's decided to, what they would say, react in a very emotional way and a calm way, and not accepting anything that doesn't really take this relationship forward in a way that they think is right. This is somebody who is, to me, this sounds really harsh, pile number 1. Please don't, please don't be annoyed. It feels like something's happened in the past that doesn't feel right to them, and they've thought, I can't deal with it this way. It's basically rocking my emotions. I don't like it, so I'm going to turn into a very pragmatic person to get through this situation and smooth it all out. The next phone call I get, the next text I'm going to get, I may not even react to. This, I think, is upsetting you. It makes me think that you've brought something up that's very personal to you, or put yourself out there in some way that hasn't been accepted, and it's making you feel upset. Initially, you could say this is, you could have possibly cheated on this person, but you're crying down here. So, it is possible, but this person has, whatever the situation is, I don't know, has gone inside themselves to, it's like these are practical cards. The King of Pentacles here, and this isn't a practical card, but it's making me think of, it's reacting like, I would say, an Aries reacts. I think I may have said this in a past reading, and the only way I can think of how to explain this is going into what I would say other people's lives. And I think I mentioned this before. My sister had a friend, not the sister's house I'm in, who was cheated on by some guy who was, what I would say, really unusual in the way that he reacted to women. It was, you know, when you see these books about, actually, you know, he had a book on his shelf about gaslighting, and you still don't to this day really know what gaslighting is. And he would have lots and lots of different girlfriends and promise lots to them, where he was going to take them, you know, really big. If it was me, I would assume that he was madly in love with me, wanted to marry me. And then he would retreat and tell them they were mad. Actually, I think I do know what gaslighting is, because this is what it feels like to me. And in the end, because she was Aries, she thought, I'm going to react like an Aries. So she did. It was like a game with her to make sure that she came out on top. And she did, in a way that was, you know, it made them both laugh. She basically tripped him up every time. And he was like all smoothie and really good looking and kept coming into her work. And she'd find out about more girls that he'd been with, got off with, and then he'd deny it. It was really weird. I don't meet many people like this that have been through these situations. To me, it felt weird. This to me feels like a pile of somebody who has decided that they are going to react in a really strong way, to be very practical and very self-contained, and to accept only what they think is going to make them into who they want to be. That sounds harsh, doesn't it? I will explain the cards to you, and so you don't think I'm absolutely revolting and turn off. Okay, please help me. Back of the pile, you got the Ten of Swords, the Five of Wands. So I'm looking at a situation that may actually have lent itself to this situation evolving here. The Ten of Swords is an ending. The Five of Wands here makes me think of some sort of conflict, some sort of antagonistic ending. Then you've got here the small square with the High Priestess and the Six of Swords, and that's somebody who's quite internal, somebody who's quite secretive, somebody who gets their power from inside themselves. And to me, this feels like a healing going from what I would say a rough time to a smoother time, and they're doing this deliberately. Your person up here is coming across as the hidden strength. So this person gains their strength from being controlled, but gains their strength from being who they want to be, rather than actually going outside themselves. And it ends in the Hermit, which basically reiterates that. The cards behind the Tower and the Page of Swords. So I tend to be thinking that this here lends itself to the Tower and the Page of Swords, where there's been some sort of conflict, something has ended, sharp words, or found out something with the Page of Swords, which is often communication they didn't want to know about. Then your person turns into the King of Pentacles here, which changing from what I would say an emotional response to a very cool response. This is where I'm thinking of Heathcliff when he leaves Wuthering Heights, when he's thrown into the stables and decides to, I don't know how he gets his men, I can't remember, but I think it's to do with sailing or goods or something, and comes back and takes the house. I hope this isn't true in that sort of scenario. But then it changes to the Temperance and the Four of Cups. The Temperance is ease, it's flow, it's basically happy with himself, happy with herself, not taking anything that doesn't serve him or her. You're coming across as, I'm going to have to put a trigger warning on this, aren't I? You're coming across as the Queen of Swords, male or female. It's a feeling of that you can't get in at the moment. You can't get towards this person. They are still trying to manifest what they would say is their ideal scenario for being able to cope with their inner softness, which may actually be inner harshness. The Judgment card is a boom situation. It's like life and death. It's like the end or the beginning of a relationship, or basically it's like with a Tower card behind here. I mean, these two are the ones I pick up for trying to understand why people have come for a reading. To me, this feels like boom. It's like, to me, it's like a shocker situation. And the Hermit, once again, lends itself to trying to function internally, to then changing that to externally and trying to be proficient in the way that they come across in the everyday world. The Four of Cups is not accepting anything that serves him or her. And the Hermit is then still trying to understand, still trying to understand. This very much feels like somebody who has, I would say, I suppose it will change if it's male or female, but has a Venus, Pluto, moon contact, who has overreacted to a situation and is cutting themselves off until they can trust themselves again. This is a really harsh reading, pile number one, and I am honestly really sorry. This obviously is, you know, if there's more than a few people watching, it's not going to be the same for anybody. You could bat this down to serve yourself or to find bits that have got clues in them that may help you. And this has got a lot to do with what I'm saying, an internal reaction that's overreacted and then trying to be very still in the outside world. Doesn't have to be somebody who you've argued with or somebody who's found out you've cheated, or it's just somebody who is trying to function and not get themselves burnt. They think they've got everything at their disposal to make themselves into Mr. Magica. That's very English. You don't want to know what that is. That's a very old kids program. He manipulates circumstances. He's a magician. He manipulates circumstances to get what he wants. You don't want to watch that. And the Hermit card is, that's what he's doing. This to me feels like a situation where somebody is retracted. And he's trying to build themselves until they can come back. But it's also a slight bit of what I would say, there's no other way I can say this without me telling porkies. You know, you've got the Judgment and the Tower. There's no other way to say that this is somebody that it feels, if I didn't say this as I see it, when the good cards come up, you'd be thinking she's talking crap. But, you know, I can only say what I can see. Oh my lord, your advice for this situation is play them at their own game. You've got the Empress and the Emperor. What a pairing. You have these two people are extremely strong in their own characters in very, very different ways. The power is there, but they deal with it in different ways. I'm assuming this is a more masculine pile. I don't know why, it's just a feeling I get. And if this is you, the Empress, it's you have got your inner power to be as strong as this and to stick it out until you feel like the Aries that wins. And the King of Wands here, in between it is, I think you're both playing what I would say power games, where you both think that, you know, you're both pushing, but in very, very different ways. You're both pushing forward. You both want to win. And it's almost a case of, yeah, this is very much, you know, you've got this Emperor card here, and I'm talking about this sort of that very strong, paternal, I'm going to do what I want. And then you pop up as the Empress, as in like, yeah, try what you want. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. It's a case of you think you're playing the inner game. This is like a great competition. It's like you think you're playing the inner game and you're going to win, but you don't know what's coming up behind you. This is a bit of an antagonistic spread that feels like there's two people, very, very strong personalities, pushing in one direction, possibly this way against each other. And it is almost like a game playing feeling. This person thinks that they've got it all set because they've gone inside themselves. You very much could be two Scorpios, or Pluto heavily in your chart. And there's a lot of... The card I've got in one of these packs here is two scorpions on a cliff. One's smaller, one's larger. They're both going to sting each other, but one, you know, and even if they don't, one's going to back off the end of the cliff, but the other one will die anyway. It's that type of feeling. It's got a very plutonic, very much a feisty, trying to somehow get inside the other person's mind to find out what's going to happen next. This may be extremely over exaggerated, but there may just be bits of it you can take that make you think, you know, I'm playing with somebody who's as strong as me, and then I, you know, what I'm trying to say is you're both strong characters and you both have different ways to play with this. And to be honest, as advice, it would be, your advice here from me was just like, yeah, go on, go for it. But to be honest, your advice should be, don't play with your egos. Don't play with your egos, really. have fun, be outgoing, don't go too much inside yourself, be yourself. The Empress card has their own power, but it's just not the case of, I'm trying to be really mature now, of pushing forward and fighting. It's a case of standing there and being yourself, being proud of yourself, even if this person has put up the shutters, pulled down the shutters, put up the shutters, I don't know, put the windbreak up. And these are quite strong cards. This has become really interesting to me. Only because it feels like this is a type of pile that hurts but makes you feel like you're alive, because it just is, it's not insipid. It's very strong. It's two very strong characters who I think have probably come to some impasse in some way, and it's just stuck. This person, your person, thinks they've got it all sussed, but they're coming from a place of what I would say is vulnerabilities, where they've overreacted. And they've shut off and they thought, I'm not going to pick the phone up, I'm not going to do this, you know, until I've shown them exactly how fantastic I am. And then you're coming across as the Empress, which it doesn't matter if you're male or female, but it's more like, I possibly don't need to push, but I don't know, the King of Wands there. And that's in the middle of you both. That could be just playful. The King of Wands could be very playful. Both of you very similar, but there's a playful, there could be a playful air of, yeah, like my sister's friend of, I'm going to play you. I'm going to play you. I'm going to have fun with this. I'm not going to cry over this. No more crying. I'm going to make myself more into me and enjoy it, because, you know, it does, it's quite nice. It's occasionally, it is nice to have a bit of a fight on. I shouldn't say this, should I? But occasionally it's nice until it hurts too much, and then it's like, you know, you don't need that. But sometimes a bit of tension is fine, because that's what gives you the spark. That's what makes the sticks rub to get the fire. But too much tension and it snaps. This is somebody who's put up their guard possibly and enjoys. It is tension. And that could be very much a part of the sexual. This could be sexual with the King of Wands between the Emperor and the Empress. This could be sexual tension. I mean, I look at this person here. Okay, I'm going to stop there because I'm going to get myself into trouble with really bad advice. Because this slightly has just brought me awake, and I don't know why, because there's something interesting about it, but it just feels like somebody who's put the windbreak up and is sitting behind it with a cigar, and you're behind, like in your bikini, whether you're a man, you're in your bikini, and it's just that feeling of, don't put your windbreak up at me, that type of thing. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I don't know if I'm off the wrong track or on the wrong track. I'm going to go, bye. Okay, what I'm thinking initially, how have this person's feelings changed? Ooh, excuse me. Has got something to do with, I would guess, a lot of watching, a lot of waiting, a lot of optimism and hoping, and then finding out something. I'm guessing that has cut. That has hurt in some way. You've got the bottom of the pack, the Nine of Swords and the Tower, which makes me think of her. It makes me think of discovering something that rocks what they had with the Star behind, been what they thought was a very optimistic new beginning, something they thought some way they thought they could go forward with you. There's a lot of hopeful, optimistic, feelings here. You've got the Seven of Pentacles in both the hopes and fears here, and this little frog here sticking its tongue out and trying to grasp, which I'm assuming this is them behind, trying to grasp you, trying to find out information about you, what you're doing, you know, where you work, looking on the internet, no doubt, with these cards down here. The internet, I'm so old. Looking at the internet to see how to switch it on and working their way back to you. That type of feeling. You didn't need that, did you? There's a lot of very sweet, blooming emotions, lots of curiosity, lots of searching, lots of wanting to know more, lots of steady. What's that? Catchy, smoothie monkey. I love that saying, but I don't know what it is. Smoothie, catchy, chunking monkey. I don't know. It's a really sweet saying. That's what they're doing. What is it? Catchy monkey. I don't know. But to me, it feels like they found out something about you, or something has happened. Possibly their feelings could have changed, because you're coming across as the Ace of Swords, which can often be communication and could very much be cutting through very terse, very sort of direct communication. They're coming across here as how things are progressing, how their feelings have changed, into the Five of Wands and the Hermit. You could have had a scrap and they've gone inside themselves. This is very, pile number 1 and pile number 2, they're quite difficult today. I'm going to put them out anyway, because I don't think it's always good to put out the ones that feel good, because it means nothing, does it? Unless you actually get the other piles that sometimes tell you what's going on isn't always easy for both of you. Something they found out has hurt. Something has changed, what I'm guessing, with regards to their feelings towards you, but I'm feeling also their personality has changed from what I would say soft, sweet looking, wanting to know more, into a more confident, because it turns from the Seven of Pentacles to the Chariot, and they've gone inside themselves. Do you know what it makes me feel like? This is in the best possible way that you've fallen off a pedestal in some way. In the best way possible. This is somebody, I'm guessing, who's very dreamy and has put an ideal on you and found out something about you. Doesn't look, you may have just had an argument. They may have found something about you, that you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or that you're not available, and they've gone inside themselves to deal with it, because they had a very sort of sweet, innocent view of where they were going to go with you. And the Seven of Pentacles is trying to catch you. There's lots of cards here that look like they're watching and waiting. And they found something out, and it's almost like healing, going inside yourself. And you almost come out of this process of inside their mind only, possibly, coming out better than you were at the beginning, because there's no way you could have measured up to their fantasy, I'm guessing here. And turning out as the Queen of Cups is there's something about you which is more, you can't say grounded because it's the Queen of Cups, but she's more available. So, you know, this may hurt, but it makes me think of my little sister, who's a lot younger than me. And she turned around, I don't know how old I was, and said, I used to think you were perfect until whatever age I was at. You cheeky bugger. This is what it makes me think, like somebody who thought you were God's gift and now thinks that you are actually their gift, with the Queen of Cups here, rather than untouchable behind. That's how their feelings have changed. This is a nice pile. This is a nice pile to me. It also makes me think of these are all family and friends, bits I add to the story, and they may be self-obsessive and really boring, but it's the only way I can colour what I'm saying, because it means more to me. I can see it in a picture rather than just sort of trying to describe the card like I've read in a book. But it makes me think of my brother's girlfriend and meeting her brother and saying that she could only go out with people who she idolised or idealised. So this person has idolised you and now is idealising you. This, you know, you can move forward with this. This you can't move forward with. This is somebody who can't speak to you because you're something else. This is somebody who, you know, really thinks that possibility of a relationship that could work, ending in the Queen of Cups here. And this is somebody who quite steadily has been trying to get closer to you. Somebody who probably turns up in your vicinity when you're thinking, where on earth did you pop up from? You know, it's like whack-a-mole. And in the process of this, in going internally and finding something out possibly that makes you more human, they're turning into the Chariot. So with male or female, they're gaining their inner confidence. and their confidence to move forward, because the Chariot again is a very forward moving, and the ending in the Queen of Cups is going towards somebody who they see has a very loving nature and possibly a, you know, I'm going to say a future, but there's a possibility of you both moving into a relationship with the Queen of Cups. And behind, it's almost untouchable. It's like lots of watching, lots of looking, trying to find out more, finding out, you know, you may be married. I don't know what the Five of Wands is. You may have gone out with their best friend, they've just found out, and it's hurt. The Hermit is like trying to deal with that, moving and healing. And then Queen of Cups is like, yeah, I can deal with this now. And now I know what I'm dealing with. Not that fantasy I had before. Nothing you've done. I don't think it's anything you've done. It's their mind process. Is this somebody probably who has a strong Neptune in their chart? How to deal with this for you is to, if you have found out something that they found out something about you that you don't like, or that the relationship feels as if it's gone over a bit of a hurdle, it's a case of you basically gathering everything you've got. You know, if it's been hard, you've got the Judgment card here, and you've got the Six of Pentacles. It's like move forward in a really practical sense. Basically cut the last situation, or basically cut a line in what's happened, move forward. Where do you want to see this relationship in 3 months' time, 6 months' time? And then you start moving, you start doing something with it. Because this person seems more receptive to whatever you're going to offer now than they possibly would 3 or 6 months ago. The Nine of Swords is like, very much goes with the back of this card of finding out something. It's the type of person who turns up and you're with somebody else, you're with somebody else and it hurts. The Judgment card is being resurrected, the relationship being resurrected. The Six of Pentacles with advice for you is, start moving with it. If this is what you want, start actually doing something practical with it. Okay, pile number 2. I'm going to finish there. I hope that makes sense in some way. That's slimy, wasn't it? Slowly, catchy monkey. Slowly, catchy monkey. Got it. Okay, I'm going to leave you there, pile number 2. Thank you for wasting time with me then. Thank you for wasting time with me. Thank you for spending time with me, and I hope to see you again. Bye. Hi, pile number 3. You've got Candy Pink. The last couple of spreads I feel have been quite hard, and I always stress and think have been quite insulting, but I always would rather say what I'm seeing than, yeah, I would rather say what I was seeing. So hopefully, being Candy Pink, yours is going to be sweet. Let's see. Right, pile number 3. This is an unusual spread. All made sense until I got to the last card. I'm going to pick through this one for you and see if it makes sense as I go along. How have this person's feelings changed? To me, it feels like initially they saw you in a group of people, or they saw you as, are you ready for insults? It's been insulting all day today, as somebody in a group of people that they found it difficult to get to, or there just wasn't the right timing to get close to you, or the right opportunity to get close to you, and so they decided to do absolutely nothing about it. This is somebody who I think is very self-contained, somebody who has what they would say as an inner strength, but sometimes it's probably a very strong ego complex that they don't like to nudge too often. Their feelings have changed as the relationship has progressed, which I don't think initially was much of a relationship to begin with. Back here, you've got too many cards of somebody trying to be cool, somebody who's not accepting anything, and somebody sees you as part of a group. You may have been friends, they may have seen you as workmates in part of a group and thought, not going there, not going to react to it. Because if they're coming across as the Emperor here and the hidden strength, it's a case of They're either mine or they're not mine. I don't see it, and there's no in between. Then the Page of Cups, they've started developing feelings. You've come across as being very sweet and open all along, and then it starts flourishing, starts opening up. This person's still trying to deal with things in a very sort of straightforward, I can put this into this pile and it will all be organised. It's an uncomfortable feeling for them, I think. And what they're trying to do is almost, there's a lot of control here. And this ends in the card I don't understand, the Seven of Swords, which is to me, Seven of Swords in this spread with the Four of Pentacles. If I can't, I'm going to say a few different scenarios here. If I can't get to you the way that I want to get to you, I'm going to retract and try later. It could be I'm going to try a different tack, but I'm not going to show you what I'm thinking. It could be that approach didn't work, so I'm going to rethink and try again. I've lost something, it didn't go forward, I'm going to stop here and retry again. So this is somebody who has seen you as part of a group and decided that you are part of that group and you're nothing else but part of that group, because they're very controlled, very much somebody who they're not going to touch. There could be even like, and I don't like keep saying this, but a third party. The Three of Cups to me and the Four of Cups behind is a group. It's really difficult to explain these cards, and I know a lot of people say, well, you know, it's not third party, but if I show you the cards, there's lots of different scenarios you could possibly put in your own head. The Three of Cups is a group situation, it's a celebration, it could be like an office party, it could be just being a group of friends. The Four of Cups is whatever's offered, I'm not interested. It's a case, I can't go there, you're part of this group, you know, you could be very established in this group, it could be something that they just can't touch. The small square here is a Temperance. There's ease, there's basically a normal situation. Everything's flowing, everything's normal, no movement, the Four of Swords. They're coming across as the inner strength up here, like, you know, I'm very self-contained, I can deal with this, I am the Emperor as well. I can do what I want to do and I do it in my own sweet time. You can do, you know, I might do diddly squat. It's basically when I decide I'm going to do it. The Emperor card is a really tough card to have, I think. And with the hidden strength, it gives a very Scorpio feeling, stuck in with that Aries and that Capricorn, which is tough. You know, it's a tough pile to have. It's somebody who has what I would say the ability to be tough on themselves, and so they are often tough on other people. Often case, you know, you get exams when you're a kid and you know your teacher's Virgo. You know it's going to be, you know, marked very toughly, and so even more so with this Capricorn Aries feel. So they're going to judge you with a tough eye, no such thing, I made that up, because they judge themselves with their own internal tough eye and made that up too. But what has happened, which is really sweet, is somewhere along the line they've softened with you, they've softened with their thoughts and how they see you, and I think it's got a lot to do with how sweet you are, how open you are, and it's almost like opening them up to possibilities they didn't actually know existed. How can people be nice? How can people be sweet and be that open? Because surely they get hurt, and it's been like a bit of an eye-opener to them. It feels a bit as well with this spread here and the Knight of Swords coming across for the situation surrounding, that they're trying to deal with this in a way that they think actually works mentally for them. It's a case of, I can't actually feel how that actually works. This is awful. I can't actually feel how to do that myself. So I'm going to try and deal with it inside my head and work out basically how this person functions and why am I drawn to them. And this is causing what I would say mental anxiety in a group situation. These two cards, I normally look at why, you know, people are coming to a reading, and this is mental anxiety. Somebody, and with regards to the question being how their feelings changed, their feelings have changed in a very unusual way, where you've actually caused them some distress, I think, with regards to how they deal with their emotions. In fact, they might have discovered they've actually got emotions. This sounds really, really rude. Like a group situation and the mental anxiety because you're showing up all lovey, sweet, and everybody thinks you're gorgeous. They have actually managed to squeeze out a Page of Cups out of themselves, and then possibly here at the end, uncomfortableness uncomfortableness with squeezing that emotion out themselves, so they've almost like, I'm not going to go there until I am sure where I stand with this person. I wonder as well here with this card whether they've actually quite naturally self-contained, self-controlled, and done something which feels out of character, offered you something but very sweet with you because they can see that's part of your personality, and then almost felt uncomfortable with it and thought that I'm not going to do that again. It's like a kid's, it's like one of those like Christmas plays where the witch at the end is actually does something really nice, and it's like, oh, they sort of change at the end scene. I can't think of any kiddies like films where this happens. And I keep thinking back to, is it the Tin Man or the lion that finds the heart in the Wizard of Oz? I don't know. I don't like the Wizard of Oz. It scares me. It's too spooky. Curly witch toes and all that. Flying monkeys. Okay, so let's go back and answer your question. So how has this person's feelings changed for you? I'm not affected. I'm not affected at the beginning because I am cool. I'm self-contained. I am my job. I am this. I am what I want to be. This is like a very sort of masculine feeling. Somebody's trying to live up to being their dad. I'm not going to be, I can't see this person because I'm so busy pushing myself forward. I am self-contained, I am self-controlled, I am me. And then Page of Cups, like, oh my God, I have a feeling. Squeezing that feeling out and it feeling uncomfortable. Then they try and retract and do something, what I would say is very much a case of trying to deal with it in a very matter-of-fact way. And the Knight of Cups here is you showing them an alternative way to actually function in life with, you can be emotional, you can be very open. It doesn't mean you lack control. In fact, it's the complete opposite. And the Seven of Swords is like, they're not quite ready, they're not quite there yet to be able to reveal more to you. They feel like they've lost something, but there's still that something there that they still want to show you. And then you've got two Swords cards, they're still trying to wonder how to function with you because you're different from them. The way that you react is very open. And the Four of Cups is contain, stick it down, shove it down, hold it there until it's ready to come up with the Emperor. And their inner strength there. Okay, right, battery's about to go, pile number 3. I hope that makes some sense to you and I hope it helps in some way. And I don't know if I've been over dramatic today. I don't know why. So if you feel that's so, just squeeze it down into what I would say a more tempered version of the bits, and that might be able to help you in some way. Right, pile number 3. So their feelings have definitely changed in the middle and then almost retracted back to the beginning because of what I would feel a feeling of wanting to control it. I'm going to leave you there. Thank you very much for spending time with me today. Hope to see you again. Bye.